Agenda items. Do we have any public comments this evening? Okay, there being no public comments, we will turn it over to Erin.
Excellent, thank you. We are excited this evening to provide a brief update for the board. Oh, Justin, would you mind? There we go. That's why it wouldn't click. Perfect, thank you. A brief update on the summer work that has taken place this summer. But before we dive into updating the board on the summer work, I do want to share just briefly, you'll notice that Mr. Hanson was not able to join us at the board meeting tonight because he is off doing something absolutely wonderful. He's done two things, presented on behalf of Diamond Lake at the NSPRA, which is the National School PR Association. He's out there presenting and also receiving an award for the publication. Our mid-year update that he had created, that video that he had created, is also being recognized. And he talked to Mr. Rogers just before the meeting started to share that they also asked him to not only present at the national conference, but to bring it back to Illinois when Illinois group meets. So huge shout out for District 76 and wonderful opportunity. So while we miss him in the meeting, we are absolutely excited to have him showcased out in New Orleans, celebrating the great communication work that takes place. So when we think about embracing, empowering, and excelling each child each day, I think often we think in the summer it's the quiet time of the school year, but just the contrary. It is a very busy time, and I'm sure as you noticed when you walked in to Diamond Lake School, there it goes. When you walked into Diamond Lake School, you probably noticed the sidewalk project that took place. There might be a little bit of dust on the parking lot from that, but it looks great. The sidewalks all been repaired, all the chipped up edges were repaired, and certainly a great addition to completing the rest of the sidewalk, and part of it was completed last summer and the rest this summer. You might have noticed the delightful aroma as you walk down to the Sparkle Center this evening. I'm happy to say the sewer repair was done in, I would say, record time. It was really impressive in the short period of time that they were able to get that repair. They had to take up some of the flooring, replace the sewer, and then repair the flooring. And if you walk down that second grade hallway today, it is not only repaired and smelling wonderful, but it looks like nothing was done, which is great. We had summer school going on here at Diamond Lake, and it was not interrupted, other than the one time the fire alarm went off, but there was no fire. But it was absolutely wonderful that we were able to get those repairs in this summer and get us ready for the fall start. The exterior doors down in the south end of the building, working at putting in new, more secure doors that close automatically behind. Those will be completed hopefully just before the school year starts. There's also signage at each of our 3 schools that is going up that has some common signage that says Diamond Lake School, that says West Oak Intermediate School as you walk in the front entrance, and West Oak Middle School. So you'll notice that took place. Access controls, we often at the front desk of the schools have a very convoluted little camera view of what is able to be seen as we buzz people in. The team was working this summer under Eric Rogers' direction really to update that and get some better footage so that they can really clearly see who's at those front doors when we buzz them in. We actually have good identification. So that's been updated and still in the works. The annual life safety testing took place, as well as paint touch-ups everywhere. You'll smell fresh paint all around the campuses, which is great. All those fingerprints cleaned up and some fresh paint put all around all of the buildings. And then the deep cleaning across all of the 3 schools. So that was Diamond Lake. West Oak Intermediate, if you haven't been by there, we're excited for the ribbon cutting that's going to take place the night of the meet and greet. We didn't do anything. There was a wonderful team who took the playground equipment and moved it from its current spot that it was at the end of the parking lot and moved it behind the building. And I think we all saw it there and went, number one, did the playground get bigger? Because it feels like it is. And it didn't. It's a lot of the exact same equipment, but just the layout of it just looks like it belonged in that spot. It takes up a nice area there. We're excited. There's some additional, we're going to re-blacktop that area, put a nice soccer pitch there for students to be able to play soccer, the West Oak Intermediate students, and we've got some really nifty basketball hoops going in that I think our students are going to be really excited for the intermediate students when they come back. So That ribbon cutting is going to take place at 3:30 on the 18th, August 18th. So we will be inviting the West Oak Intermediate families, but certainly Board of Education, we would love to have you there to help us cut that ribbon and let the students play for a few minutes before they go in for meet and greet. With the movement of the playground from the one location to the new location, it did provide, it was a crime of opportunity, to quote Mr. Rogers, a crime of opportunity to be able to add some additional parking where that existed. So we have some additional parking, approximately 15-ish parking spots in that area, which will be great. You know how crowded our parking lots get, and it's great to be able to have some additional parking so families can have wonderful access. Like Diamond Lake School, West Oak Intermediate also got the new school badging that you'll see when you come in. The access controls are also being updated at the front desks of that school as well. And the annual life safety paint touch-ups and deep cleaning are taking place right now. And last but not least, we didn't forget the middle school. Some updates just to update the board. The gym itself needed some updated doors that actually do lock. Those doors have been replaced and updated. The flooring has been refreshed, which is great. It's got that new fresh wax coating on it. New Chromebook storage is going in, so as the students come into the middle school gym, they'll have like a little cubby essentially to put their Chromebooks in, so they don't have to walk into the gym with it. So it'll be great that they'll have that storage space there. And some lighting updates were done within there as well. The school signage, as you walk in the middle school, you'll notice that. Access controls, annual life safety, like the other two buildings, paint touch-ups. And then they'll also have access to that additional parking for the middle school, which is great. And then deep cleaning. And I know additional parking sounds very unfancy in terms of updates, but it's a wonderful thing because typically on any given day with all staff in the building, there are only 6 available spots. So if you're having a field trip and families are there, it certainly does not make for a conducive parking space. Before we go to that, there we go. In addition, some district office work was done as well to update the board. You know, to the credit of Marina, and she had a team of 2 additional support, we're still in the process of moving all of our personnel files to electronic personnel files. In addition to the storage that we have here, we have to pay to use off-site storage, and this gives us all of it electronically. It also makes it all very easily accessible within that program. We did move our programming over to something called Red Rover, which makes things a little bit smoother. You guys did as well. Excellent in your district. So that's been a wonderful move. It's been seamless, and it's, again, Dr. Cunningham, Mr. Rogers, and the entire team, Deanne, Belinda, Marina, all of the team really working together has been able to make that a seamless move that I don't think our staff felt any interruptions. The school badging was put up. The community center, we're excited this evening to accept the bid. We had several bids come in this just last week, over 8 bids total came in, which was great. So we feel really good about the bid process and what we've got that's going to be coming with our community center, and we'll be ready to hopefully break ground soon. So we'll keep the board updated on that. We are applying, and when I say we, Mr. Rogers is applying for the Safe and Security Grant. Hopefully our Safety and Security Grant would be approved, and that would give us additional opportunities. And then today and this week, the entire leadership team has been busy really diving into our specific reflections on the year from last year, the leadership goals that we see we need to have as a school system going into next school year. So we're excited to share with the board in August the focus areas that we have for the upcoming school year. I do want to highlight that first bullet, the summer professional development. Dr. Cunningham, I know Dr. Klipp was heavily involved in this as well. The summer professional development that's taken place to support staff. We had 61 staff members here in June doing some common formative assessment work, which was outstanding. And we've got some plans for new staff and then some Summer Professional Development Institute, which is essentially almost like a little internal conference for staff to come to. So if you build it, they will come. Like, our staff is coming to these things, so it really does speak to their commitment to, even in the summer, capitalizing on that time. So it's been a great opportunity. And not to discount as well the summer camp offering that was highly attended with over 200 students in Diamond Lake throughout the month of June and the first couple days of July. But all of that to say, when we think about Embrace and Power Excel, we think schools are quiet in the summer, and it's actually the great opportunity for us to roll up our sleeves, be busy, so that when the students come back in just 29 more days, we're ready to welcome them back with open arms, clean facilities, updated facilities that are ready for them to learn. So just a brief update for the board on that work, and just wanted to make you aware of some of the things that have taken place. Happy to answer if there's questions.
No questions? No? Looks fantastic. Thank you all for your hard work.
Thank you.
Okay, then we will move on to our business agenda. We have a number of items up for action this evening. The first item for action is the omnibus vote agenda. Items under the omnibus vote agenda are considered routine and/or non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. If anyone, board member, staff, administrator, or citizen wishes to have a separate vote on any item or items, that item or items will be pulled from the omnibus vote agenda and voted on separately. Be it resolved that the Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education accepts and approves the omnibus vote agenda items A through D as listed. May I have a motion to approve, please? Yes. That motion's approved. The next item up for action is personnel. Be it resolved, the Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education accepts and approves the personnel items as depicted on the agenda. We have 2 new hires and 2 resignations. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Moved. Ms. Bayless? Yes. Mr. Becker? Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Holland? Yes. Ms. Reyes? Yes. Ms. Sullivan? Yes.
The next item up for action is the resolution to approve the tentative budget and set the budget hearing. Do you want to speak on that at all, Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, so I was hoping to continue the practice of just doing a brief overview of the presentation. And then at the next meeting, which we don't have until September right now, is I'll give an update and changes that have taken place from tentative to the adopted budget. So I'll just kind of go over a brief update of the slides. A lot of the slides did stay the same in context. You will notice there will be a lot of different documents that will be attached for the September meeting. I'm kind of migrating over to a little bit more of an advanced budget presentation rather than some of the Excel documents that I've been using in the past. So I didn't have time to implement all of it right away. Just got access to it July 1st, so then we'll have it all for September. And I'll kind of spend a little time just showing you. It's the same format that we do with our monthly budget, our monthly treasurer's report documents. So this will kind of be some continuity between the budget and the monthly treasurer's report. So I could do some more frequent updates throughout the year with kind of the budget to performance on our actuals at that point. So, so without further ado, besides NFL Sunday, this is probably the best day of the year, is the tentative budget. So I'm going to go through just a brief overview of our estimated revenues and expenditures this year. Oh boy, this thing is vibrating on me. There we go. Okay, so just again, an overview about what is a budget. I will skip over some of those parts and just get to kind of the meat and potatoes of, right now, we're estimating pretty conservatively a small deficit this year. It's been historically the practice that I've used with budgeting is to allow some flexibility throughout the year to add additional resources should they be identified. This is tiny. It's easier to see in your presentation, but this is kind of an example of what some of the other reports that we're going to utilize. It's a snapshot of our last 3 years of actual data, and then there's a black column that shows our preliminary actuals. So those are unaudited numbers. We'll go through our audit sometime in August. But really, I wanted to point out that with our operating funds, which are our Ed Fund, our O&M, which is operations and maintenance, transportation, the IMRF, and the working cash fund, we ended the year with a $108,000 deficit, but I'll go through the positives that really we had a very strong performance year, that with that $100,000 deficit, that included a $1.67 million transfer from the Ed Fund to the Capital Projects Fund. So that allowed us to do a lot of facility work going forward, and that's not identified in this document since it's a non-operating fund. So overall, strong performance we had this year from a budgetary standpoint. And from a tentative budget, we're estimating a $390,000 deficit in those funds. And I'll walk through a couple specifics on why that deficit is there, because some of it is planned, Some of it has that conservativeness in nature. With the actuals, it's at the very bottom of the page, we finished with 112% fund balance as a percent of our expenditures. So that just basically says we have 13.4 months of reserves. So very strong, healthy reserves for us. And even if we did realize that deficit this upcoming year, it would still leave us with just over 12 months of reserves available. So, again, what this doesn't show is there's some facility work that we do plan on the future years here. I know Dr. Knoll touched on some of the work we did finish. Sometimes work is accomplished by life safety surveys. Sometimes our architects mention things. Sometimes haikus are written to kind of get this work done. So in honor of Nikki's last day here on the board, I have a small haiku about our poem, or about our project here. So little ChatGPT help with this one. So we've heard of the smell and Eric's brave quest, but there's one more hero we simply must vest. The one on the board who keeps things running smooth through odors and budgets and every tough move. Now Nikki's time on the board comes to an end, and though we're sad to say goodbye, we know she'll be missed, and that's really no lie. No stinky floor drains, no chore big or small, could match what she's given the district and us all. So here's to her service, her wit, and her heart. Diamond Lake won't be the same with her gone from their part. May our next chapter be joyful, relaxed, and drain-free. Thank you for everything you've done from all of this. District 76. Yes. So yes. And we did get we had the drinking fountain as well. So it runs in the family for haiku poems this time. So that's a small district. Sometimes you get things done that way. So I just want to highlight three of our main funds and just kind of the small nuances within each one here. So as I mentioned, we had a $1.67 million transfer from the Ed Fund to the capital projects. And even with that, we finished with an $11,000 surplus. So we wanted to maintain kind of an equal fund balance in the Ed Fund. Budgeted upcoming is a $106,000 deficit in there, which should still give us a lot of flexibility within the school year. The reason that I had the $390,000 deficit is predominantly driven by our O&M fund. So this last year we had a $169,000 deficit this year, but I'm going to refer to it as a planned deficit, and that's really based on the fact that we did have a high fund balance in that specific fund. So we're held to what's I've referred to as it's the Miller ratio. We can't have over 2 years of reserves in any one specific operating fund. So this is gonna, I'm under levying in these funds to bring this down a little bit. So even with the $230,000 deficit, it ends at 133% of our fund balance in that fund. So we'll continue for the next couple of years and kind of get it to a sweet spot of 80 to 90%. Transportation's the one fund that we're going to still have to continue to monitor. We did end with a $7,000 surplus this year, but because the state revenue is so infrequent at times and the quarterly transportation claim payments that we do received, it's been a little bit slower and a little bit less frequent, and it's going to continue to be underfunded. We're going to have to start moving more money in from the levy standpoint into that fund. So I still I moved some money around. It still maintains a fairly even small deficit that we have in those funds over the next future years. And then this chart, it doesn't include our most recent audit, but what it does show is we still have very strong reserves, and historically we've been able to build up the reserves from about 33% now just over 113%. And the only thing I'm going to highlight from this slide is the consumer price index is 2.9% that we based our revenue coming in this year at. The next levy is going to be based off of 2.7%. We do still have our CPI numbers coming in. It's hovering about 3.2, 3.3%, and we think it's going to be a little bit higher for the next levy cycle. And you can just see historically we've been able to maintain some strong surpluses in here that we are able to repurpose for our staff salaries, benefits, and some future facility work. So this metric is just one I'm going to continue to show that just shows we have a healthy structure based on how our two most important revenue sources in property tax and evidence-based funding offsets our two highest expenditures, which is salaries and benefits. So it just makes up over 61% of our expenditures. So as long as we're able to maintain a high enough ratio for these two revenue sources to offset our salaries, we're in a pretty healthy projection system here for our revenues. And really, kind of one of the last ones I'll highlight is our financial profile score. So we've still been able to maintain an excellent financial score in that the only areas that have been decreased over the last few years has been our long-term debt. That's the debt that we've issued for referendum bonds and issuing debt certificates. Now those are starting to trickle off and our score is starting to go up. But that just means, as a reminder, in the next couple of years, we're going to be able to issue new debt at no additional expense to the taxpayers and still do some future facility work. So yeah, as I mentioned, 76% of our tax base, of our revenue comes from our taxpayers, and 61% of our expenditures are currently projected to come from salaries and benefits. So all in all, the only things to keep in mind over the next year is we're entering our last year of a collective bargaining agreement. We have a 5% increase to salaries that are baked into my projections. Benefits I have 7% baked in, and we're going to be going through that cycle of determining our next CBA here coming up. And so those are just be some of the opportunities we have to readjust our forecast as we go through this. So we're going to be asking the board to approve the tentative budget tonight. The budget will be, it'll be presented for about 60 days now, and we could have approved it in August. We need at least 30 days, but this will allow us to get all the additional information that we do need to make some budget adjustments, and it just needs to be filed by the end of September. So any questions on that? I could whip up another poem if you need me to about anybody here, so.
I don't know if you can top that one. It was really good.
We'll frame that for later, so. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you. Fantastic. Also, I did want to note, I appreciate the translation of the presentation side by side. It's nice to see. Okay, then we will go forward with the resolution. Whereas ILSC 1055/17-1 directs the board to provide at least one public hearing prior to the final action on the budget. And whereas the notice of the public hearing must be published in a local newspaper at least 30 days prior to the time of hearing, therefore be it resolved, the Diamond Lake School District Board of Education approves the 2026-2027 tentative budget as presented and sets September 22nd, 2026 at 7 p.m. as the date for a public hearing on the 2026-2027 budget. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Ms. Holland? Yes. Ms. Reyes? Yes. Ms. Bayless? Yes. Mr. Becker? Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Okay, the next item up for action is the press policy update. Were you guys going to make any updates from the committee?
Well, we had just probably a couple that were highlighted to us, and we just kind of wanted to talk about one or two of them real quick.
Okay.
The first one being the access to the district public records, like any FOIA requests and stuff. Let me just look at my notes here. Sorry, this was like a couple of months ago. But any like requests that are being made, the changes that the district needed to respond to, we're doing that already. So we are already up to date with the new policy. Most of the updated policies, I think, are already implemented and moving forward within the district. There was another one for the student social and emotional development. It was just a minor update just to reflect continuous improvement for social emotional development. And I think, Robin, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the SABRS, that the program, that's what we're already implementing and doing. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Cunningham.
Make sure it's all right.
We are already implementing the SABRS, which is the SEL screener, and we're actually doing it twice a year instead of once a year. So,
Perfect. And that was it. And then we have another one coming up that we'll probably have some more updates soon.
Okay,
But that was
fantastic.
it.
Did anyone have any questions or anything else they want to discuss on that? Okay. So we will move forward with the motion. Whereas policy creation and updates and changes to adopted policies are provided for District 76 through the subscription to Policy Reference Educational Subscription Service Press from the Illinois Association of School Boards. And whereas the policy committee reviewed the policies and a first reading of the policies was held on May 5th, 2026. Therefore, be it resolved that the Diamond Lake School District 76 Board of Education moves to approve the policy changes as presented and reviewed in IASB Press Issue 121. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Mr. Becker? Ms. Holland? Ms. Bayless? Yes. Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes? Yes. Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion is approved. The next item up for action is the community center. Eric, did you have anything you wanted to say about that? Or,
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to highlight, I know as Dr. Knoll mentioned, that we had 8 bidders that were part of this. We got a healthy bid number that came in about 60 grand under what their estimate was. And even within that, there's a healthy amount of contingency that's baked in. But I just want to highlight that because of Dr. Knoll, we were able to get a hefty amount of donation attributed to this. So over half the cost should be offset by that generous donation. So thank you again for that.
fantastic. Okay, does anyone have any questions about that? Okay, then be it resolved, the Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education accepts and approves the Diamond Lake School District 76 Community Center bid of $369,000 awarded to Stolson Construction Company, Inc. as presented. May I have a motion to approve, please?
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Ms. Holland? Yes. Ms. Bayless? Yes. Mr. Becker? Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes? Yes.
That motion is also approved. And then the last item up for action is bittersweet. It is approving the resignation of Mrs. Sullivan.
I am like such a baby.
Be it resolved, the Diamond Lake 76 Board of Education accepts and approves the resignation of Board of Education member as presented.
Sadly moved. Ms. Bayless? Yes. Mr. Becker? Ms. Hale?
Yes.
Ms. Holland? Yes. Ms. Reyes? Yes. Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Well, you're not. We're very sad to see you go, but we're also very excited for you.
We're off for great things and we're very lucky.
Yes. We're lucky to have had you for 7 years, and then we're lucky that you'll still be in the community.
Oh, thank you. We have some sweet treats up there too to enjoy.
Fantastic. Okay, that wraps up our business agenda. We had 2 FOIA requests that were fulfilled. For notices of communications, we have information about CEDAL. David, was there a CEDAL meeting in the interim? Yeah, do you want to?
CEDAL meeting June 3rd. I was telling Tina it was 30 minutes. It was
Okay.
really fast. Couple quick things. The 2 interim superintendents have now moved on. They interviewed just 1 year, they were there for 2 years. Dr. Hackett, Dr. Thomas, and now another Dr. Thomas is taking over Jennifer Thomas. She was approved in March.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's gonna begin now, she's already begun. So we just like said goodbye and thank you to them. There are executive board openings, if anyone's interested in getting on the board. They meet during the week, they meet at 8 o'clock in the morning, and some of them Tuesdays. So it's restricted because anyone who has a full-time job can't participate. But they're looking for more people, board members who are interested. They talked about the CIP goals, the school, they call them school, continuous improvement plan goals, and just went through their updates and how they're meeting all their goals and how things are looking good, and staffing looks good, the facilities look good, safety and security is good, transportation costs are always an issue. But it was a very nice, positive, short meeting.
Great. Awesome. Thank you for attending. Does anyone have any questions on that? Okay, and then for the D76 highlight, we have the State of the District Diamond Edge newsletter and that adorable picture. Good job on the spacing, everyone. The next item on the agenda is public comments on petitions and on non-agenda items. Do we have any public comments or petitions on non-agenda items? Okay, moving on. Do we have any others? Okay, there being no others, we will move into executive session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel for the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity, and discussions of minutes of meetings lawfully closed, whether for purposes of approval by the body of the minutes or semi-annual review of the minutes as mandated by section 2.06. May I have a motion to adjourn to executive session? Yes. Now we can pause and celebrate you.
Thank you. I actually did write something.
Good, please.
All right. I'll just do it from here. Actually, I feel weird doing it from here. I'm gonna go.
You want to go
up
podium?
there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go hide behind this podium. We have navigated global pandemics, consolidated our campuses, completed significant facility improvements, and welcomed a new superintendent, and saw board members come and go along the way. Through all those changes, the thing I'm the most proud of is that we have kept our commitment to keeping students at the front of all of our decisions. I just feel incredibly lucky to have served on a high-functioning board through all of that, which is something that I don't know that a lot of school districts can say. Doesn't mean we've agreed on everything, but we have just remained respectful and listened to each other. And I believe that culture of mutual respect is why the board has remained so effective. And that is something that I have every confidence that all of our future board members will continue that tradition. Serving on the district has been an honor. And while there have been some challenges, I'm just really proud of what we've accomplished. I'd like to thank all of my fellow board members, past and present, for your partnership and friendship. Thank you to our superintendent, our administrators and teachers, and you know, the work that you do might go a little unseen sometimes, but it is not mean it's not super important and making a big difference. So one last thing before I go, I have written a poem as well. It's probably not as good as yours. I don't think it'll make anyone cry. Roses are red, violets are blue. You didn't think I'd leave without a poem for you. To all the board members, the old and the new, thank you for your friendship and for all that you do. Keep building traditions, give everyone a say, and a little fireball never hurts to help celebrate the day. To our admin and staff who keep this place on track, thank you for your support and always having our back. Peter, before I go, one thing I have to say, you'll always be my Oprah. And that's all I have to say today. So this isn't goodbye. Don't celebrate quite yet. With 3 kids in D76, you're not rid of me quite yet. Thank you, guys.
Excellent, thank you.
Scoot this over so we can get you guys.
Okay, so I was trying to figure out what's getting